Welcome to Anew Dawn. I'm Dawn, and the topic for today is going to be enough. The reason why I kind of chose this topic for today is we are starting a brand new year, and a lot of times people are setting New Year's resolutions. Last year, 2023, guys, ate me up. So a couple of days ago, I was having a conversation with my sister, and we were talking about how much has happened in a year, and I survived. So I want to talk about it. So last year, and if you all have watched my first video, you know that last year I got sick on my birthday. And when I tell you sick, like, for me, everyone's tolerance is different. I understand that. But for me, I was down bad. Like, I had a really bad case of acid reflux and indigestion. And it was triggered by me doing a yoga pose. I suffered from uterine fibroids. And at the time, I probably had no business being on my stomach. I have done modifications in yoga really throughout my entire practice. And the thing is, I was up and down in my practice. And about the fifth time that I got down there, I really started to feel uncomfortable. So much so that I had to stop practicing. And I've never had to do that before. I had to stop our practice and step outside because I was so nauseous and sick. And guys, it was the middle of January, so it was freezing outside. But I didn't know what was going on. And because I had been having problems with my fibroids for many years, I thought that's what it was. And I had gotten to a point really with my fibroids where I was getting to be towards the end. Like, I knew that my quality of life was not what's up. I would have a cycle for 14, 15, 16, 17 days at a time. And I would go off for 3 or 4 days and then I'd be right back on. I was just on 10 all the time. So I was getting to a point where I knew that something had to be done. I had been talking with a doctor. I've been seeing a doctor. We were trying alternative methods to try to ease the pain, make me more comfortable, maybe try to shrink them. But the reality was I was way past that, and I should have not explored those options. But, you know, at the time I was still trying to preserve my uterus because I didn't have children. When I got sick on my birthday, I thought that's what it was because I had this lower abdomen pain. And the one good thing about this doctor that I was seeing at the time is when I went to talk to her about it, and I actually ended up doing a telemedicine visit because I couldn't get in with her right away. And then I made an appointment with my primary care doctor, and I made an appointment with the gynecologist because I just didn't know what was going on with me. I don't typically get sick outside of the sniffles, maybe a small cold once a year, you know, during the season. And usually when the seasons are changing from fall to winter or winter into summer, I might get sick, but that's really about it. On the flip side though, when I do get sick, it's like major stuff and I end up having to have surgeries, which is crazy. And I do not recommend. But in all seriousness, I really just did not know what was going on at the time. So I tried to go to the doctor to find out what was going on. And at the gynecologist, I told her, listen, I had been taking a pill to kind of shrink them. I was taking medication for my arthritis to try to manage that pain. I was on some of everything. And I told her, listen, even if it's not my fibroids acting up, I can't take this anymore, okay? I'm ready to take it out. So this year, like how quickly can I have this procedure done, because I can't take it anymore. And so we did explore that. We talked about it. We went down that road. But the gynecologist actually suggested that I have my gallbladder looked at. I was like, what are you talking about? I mean, basically, I was really just like, what are you talking about? A gallbladder? I've never had an issue with that, but I didn't know I had an issue with that. So long story short, they ended up finding a gallstone. I don't remember the size of it, but I know that it was a decent size that could have caused me a really major problem later. And because I was already planning to have my hysterectomy done, the recommendation was that because I would already be under anesthesia, to go ahead and have it removed. It would be no more of a risk for me to have it done because I would already be under anesthesia. And of course, it was my decision, and I had to talk to my family about it and pray on it. But ultimately, I decided, let's go ahead and do that. It was one of the best decisions that I ever made because I didn't know that I had a problem with my gallbladder. It was inflamed. On top of me having a gallstone in there, it was inflamed. And I was just very uncomfortable. And I had discomfort in my lower abdomen where my fibroids were. But my fibroids were so big that I always had this pain like in my middle abdomen and my upper chest. So when I got sick last year, it just felt like everything rose up and I just had a lot of pain and discomfort. When I had that surgery, I had a hysterectomy done and my gallbladder removed at the same time. They did them both laparoscopically. So for my gallbladder, I have, I think, like 4 small incisions in my upper abdomen, like just below my chest. And then for my hysterectomy is probably another 4 or 5 incisions in my lower abdomen and my belly button. And they did a robotic procedure where they went in and cleaned everything out. My recovery time was about 6 weeks. So that was awesome. And I say that because I had a baby by the time I had my surgery. My foster child was here. So that was a pretty awesome experience. But when I was recovering, I had arthritis in both of my knees. And for some reason, and probably because I couldn't work out like I used to do water aerobics, but I couldn't do that because I had surgery and I had to wait so many weeks before I could get back in the water. So I was not really active. I mean, active in the house because I was taking care of myself and a baby, like, you know, trying to heal. And what was crazy is that my legs and my knees were hurting, and I feel like my arthritis pain worsened after I had my hysterectomy. So for me, it was about healing from my surgery in my abdomen area, but I also like had this intense pain in my legs and my knees, and I was already on 10. So I got to the point where I felt like I can't walk anymore. I was hurting so bad. I had so much pain in my legs that it hurt me to walk. My knees would grind when I would come up and down the steps, and when I would sit down for too long, I was in pain. When I stand up for too long, I was in pain. When I was walking up and down the steps, when I'm carrying my baby, when I'm just resting, when I'm sleeping, it actually was the worst overnight when I was sleeping, because I would be sleeping, you know, for hours and inactive. And so I would wake up in the morning and I would have this intense pain in my legs. When I was experiencing that is the thing that made me decide it is now time for me to have knee replacement surgery. So I had been doing everything under the sun to manage my knee pain for probably about 2 years. Everything from physical therapy, aquatic therapy, yoga, pain medication, gel injections, trying to change my diet. You know, they tell you, you know, eat an anti-inflammatory diet. I mean, I tried all of it. Walking, massages, everything. It was just, everything was a band-aid. But when I felt like I couldn't walk anymore is when I decided it is time for me to have knee replacement surgery. I was in pretty bad shape. Of course, my gynecologist was a specialist, so he only did surgeries on the more complicated cases. So I don't think mine was necessarily the worst case that he saw before, but it was pretty bad in there. Apparently, my knees were in pretty bad shape too. So I am planning to have the right knee replaced later this year, if not next year. Wish me luck on that. At least now I know what to expect. It was difficult to have 2 surgeries in a year. And I really sent myself through a lot of emotions because I felt like I'm too young to be going through all of this, but the reality is I was going through all of that. And then I also beat myself up about it because I felt like, why don't I take better care of myself? Why am I in this situation? You know, what if I would have did this different? What if I would have did that different? At the moment, I decided to have each one of my procedures done. I had gotten to a point where my quality of life was so terrible that I couldn't take it anymore. And that's when I decided enough is enough. But what I've learned about myself, and I don't know why I do this, and I don't know if any of you guys do this out there, but I waited until I was down bad, like bad, to do something about my situation. And as I reflect on that, I can see in several areas of my life, throughout my life, I have waited until I was all the way at rock bottom or all the way down, you know, to make a decision, to make a change. I have been in some of the worst relationships ever and dealt with some of the nastiest people. I have been in jobs where I wasn't treated kindly or fairly, or where I just was unhappy. I mean, I just really was unhappy. I had waited until my health got to be so bad that I couldn't walk. I waited until my health got to be so bad that I couldn't lay down on my stomach anymore. And what I'm here to talk about for my own self, and maybe just to shine some light on someone else's life today, is to say that instead of waiting until you cannot do anymore, make a change. Make a change. Do what makes you happy. Do what is going to be fulfilling to your life. Do what is going to be the best thing for your health. Make a change. Do something different before you get to a point where you have to do something different. Do it because you want to do something different. Do it because you know it's time to do something different. Because you still got fight left in you to do something different. For me, I had given up. And I'm going to tell you guys that I know exactly the point in my life where I gave up. And this honestly is a topic for another day. But when I was in my relationship, my last relationship with a toxic human being, I had gotten to a point where I didn't feel good enough. I know I was being taken advantage of. I felt like nothing that I did or said would make this person happy. Nothing that I did or said would make this situation better. And I didn't want it to. I mean, I had gotten to a point where I was a zombie. I was used up. I was drained. He drained the life out of me. He literally drained the life out of me. He sucked everything out of me. I had nothing else left to give. I stayed for 6 more months and I knew I was unhappy. And I was so unhappy that I stopped doing everything. I stopped talking to him. I only talked to him when I needed to. And most of the time it was if he talked to me first. I stopped cooking. I stopped taking care of the things that I was taking care of before. I just stopped doing everything. I just gave up. I stopped doing everything because I was so miserable and I had enough. But I couldn't figure out how to get out at the time. And it took a bad day for me to say, not anymore. But I'm telling you right now, today, for me in 2024, one of the things that I'm going to work on, and I'm putting it here intentionally because I myself want to go back and reflect on it. But I want y'all to think about it too. Hold me accountable, but I want you to hold yourself accountable too. I want to stop being that person. Part of this journey to a new dawn is kind of figuring out some of the things and areas in my life where I went wrong or where I could have done better. And I know for me, I wait until I am down bad, until I can't take it anymore, until I've had enough to leave a relationship, to cut somebody out of my life, to take care of myself and my health, to make a change, no matter what it is. And I don't want to do that anymore. So I'm going to wrap it up today. I actually went to a funeral this afternoon. Rest in peace to my Aunt Jeannie. So it was very hard. It's always hard to attend a funeral of a loved one, but it was just a very challenging day today. Jeannie lived her life, and it just reminded me life is too short. Life is too short for you not to enjoy the life that you have. Every single day is a gift, and you only get one chance at it. So make the most out of it. Do the things that make you happy. Do the things that are important to you. Do the things that are the best for you and your family and your situation. And don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until it's too late. Things may look like they're hard. Things may seem challenging. Sometimes you may not have the answer. You may not know how you're going to do it. You may not know what the next step is going to be. But I'm going to tell you, when you put your trust in God, He will take care of you. He will provide for you. It's actually already been written. So I'm here to tell you, don't wait until enough is enough. Advocate for yourself today. Live your best life starting today. That is my goal for 2024. Again, I want y'all to hold me accountable to it. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know if these are things that you've struggled with before. If you've overcome them, tell me how do you do it? Because I've struggled with it my whole life. It's never too late to make a change, right? So talk to me. Tell me what you guys want to hear next. Make sure you guys follow, subscribe, like, comment, hit me up, holler at your girl. And I'll see y'all all next time on Anew Dawn. Love you. Bye.